Hello, I'm Renato Ambrósio from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I'm happy and grateful for participating in image analysis in ophthalmology. I thank Professor Hashimin and Professor Kodoparas for their honored invitation. My talk is on the Brazilian Artificial Intelligence Network in medicine. This is my financial disclosures, including Oculus, BrAIN AI solutions, and a masterclass online course with over 20 hours of presentations related to multimodal refractive imaging. I start with a quote. As for me, all I know is I know nothing, from Socrates. My humble interpretation is that the more that we know, the more that we should be sure that we should know more. So the idea is on the understanding of AI, and this is a path that we started about 15 years ago with my friend João Marcelo Lira introducing me to Professor Aidro Machado, who was then a young professor on computer science, just finished his PhD on Sorbonne University, France, on AI. So he taught us about AI, and we all learned tremendously from this over this last decade. And the idea is to get machines to help us. First, designing machines to do what humans can do. But now, what the capacity is the capacity to do things that we can't do. Looking at the multidimensional analysis is something that we cannot do, and machines can, but we have to be keen with strategic and understanding the whys and how to program those machines. We have diagnostics in refractive surgery. We have a lot of information to be used for decision, for optimizing, customizing, planning. If the surgery is going to be in the cornea, fake KOLs or lens surgeries, the therapeutic procedure, LASIK, SMILE, and PRK. And we should decide that on the role for optimizing outcomes and preventing complications like ectasia, tear film dysfunction, epithelialization, quality of vision issues. And all this data are available. Topography, tomography, biomechanics, whole eye waveform data. All this data should be integrated. And this integration would be key for us to make clinical decisions. The concept is that we have data acquired, parameters that are generated. We have to think about the precision, the repeatability, and the correctness of the value, considering a reference value, the accuracy. Those parameters are going to be used in clinical displays, and subjective analysis coming from here. Objective analysis from indices in artificial intelligence is what we should strive for. The algorithm A2I squared is the one I created to understand the application of an ancient intelligence, the philosophy, the whys, and application of artificial intelligence considering these whys and why and how. Considering ectasia after LASIK, the first descriptions in 1998 by Seiler, the first 3 cases with high myopia treated by LASIK, the impact from surgery caused the weakening and iatrogenic ectasia. A few months later, he published the paper on form-fluid keratoconus. Here, he defined form-fluid keratoconus based on inferior stiffening on axial curvature from placido-disc topography. Those 2 reports allude perfectly to the pathophysiology of ectasia. Biomechanical decompensation occurs considering the resistance of the cornea, innate biomechanical properties, and the impact from the environment. Any cornea may undergo the biomechanical decompensation, nicely described by B.J. Dupes and Cynthia Roberts, considering eye rubbing and the impact from surgery. Eye rubbing is the major cause, and if you want to avoid ectasia, tell patients not to rub the eye. Eye rubbing aggravates keratoconus or can even cause ectasia. So while any patient, any person on this planet would benefit from the information that eye rubbing is bad for you, I would say that any cornea surgeon, the more experienced they are, they should understand aggravating keratoconus and causing ectasia is not the same thing. This is a patient that I present many times. The residual stromal bed was 304, PTA was less than 0.4. The little yellow here on the pre-op would be pathognomonic, especially if you consider the ectasia result. But this was the initiation of a very important study that looked at the variability of subjective classifications on corneal topography. This is case number 6, varying from 0 to 3 with a mode of 0. 11 experts classified again, now from 0 to 4. The first classification was 1.5 diopter absolute scale with Steve Kleiss, Mike Smolik. Now, with the holiday scale with a half a diopter normative, which is a classic ICs, 9 of the 11 experts had a different classification for the two scales. Looking at the pre-op tomography, we have Pentacam available from the U12 file, so the D was higher than 1.5, the artmax was lower than 400. This is ectasia susceptibility. In a larger population, we collected 105 cases with a pre-op Pentacam data from patients that develop ectasia after LASIK, comparing to 3,278 stable cases. The D has a 59% sensitivity, much higher than the 22.9% sensitivity on the IS value. But we can go better with the D for the Pentacam random forest. This is the base for the BAD-D version 4, which will soon be available. And this is the work by Bernardo Lopes on artificial intelligence. Where are we? There's a very nice editorial that we put together. And this is important that we have to understand that those cases down here make the point that we should still continue to evolve. Age, PTA, and residual stromal bed in this population does not explain so well what happened. So we need to go beyond, and that's the work on the relational tissue altered, which is an AI characterization of the impact from laser vision correction. This is the second thesis of PhD that Aido Machado is doing, and I'm honored to collaborate with him on that. So he looked at the solutions for imbalanced groups, much larger population on this table, and he was able to segment the population and do strategic analysis so that we were able to improve statistically significant analysis with the relational tissue altered along with the BAD-D today. So this is a very promising work that we have been implementing on clinical practice still today. Ectasia susceptibility is what we should look for beyond, not over topography and tomography. Biomechanical assessment is fundamental. The Oculus Corvis ST is a tonometer that gives us that deformation response on Scheimpflug imaging. So in 31 milliseconds, we have 140 frames that characterize the cornea, so a keratoconus index can be created. Nice work by Ricardo Vinciguerra and Paulo Vinciguerra that got the Troutman Award in 2017, in which we are able to characterize if the cornea is softer or stiffer. The integration of data from tomography and biomechanics has been our work since 15 years ago. I started with the ocular response analyzer, and now with the Corvis, and not only with biomechanical data, but also with data from very asymmetric ectasia cases. So in this work, published in 2017, we have 94 cases with normal topography in which the fellow eye had ectasia. Normal topography is defined as a strict criteria, and we had 90.4% sensitivity. We improved that in terms of the AOS thesis, which goes for 551 normal topography eyes. And this is going to be on the analysis, a very important path, so that we improve the sensitivity for the very symmetric normal topography cases with about 10% increment, with 84.4% sensitivity. We can optimize it further with ethnicity and also multimodal refractive imaging like epithelial thickness data. The BrAIN is a software that is available online, braincornea.com, since 2015. We integrate data along with the available pre-op data that you have, Pentacam, oculizer, keratograph, or general topography. We are expanding that for a commercial software that will be released soon. And this year, we were honored to collaborate with the JCRS in this consultation section in this 27-year-old lady that had low myopia, and we were able to identify ectasia susceptibility very objectively. So the idea is the understanding if the patient is a good candidate for lamellar procedure, LASIK, or SMILE. There's an advantage of SMILE for LASIK, but not for PRK, surface ablation. You have ICLs, phakic IOLs, ICRIL-phakic, and others that are coming to the market that are very robust and very trustable with excellent results, or if the patient is a good candidate for therapeutic corrections. So the relational tissue alter will be, along with the TBI, the way to characterize this best procedure for the patient. So we apply artificial intelligence with ancient intelligence. We are the entrepreneurial company, not academic center anymore, and the solutions that we are providing with ectasia susceptibility, with an enhanced ability for making this as the best as possible for helping our patients using refractive surgery the best way as possible. So thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'm honored to collaborate with you and eventually have some question and answers very soon. Thank you.